Well, hello all. I hit 40 subs today, which is crazy to me because I never really intended to make a full channel. I just wanted to come on and make a video complaining about some things. But that being said, I appreciate all of you and I hope that you stick around. I know I'm slightly behind in making videos on some of these subjects and the information has been out for a little while, but honestly there is a lot and I'm still getting used to this whole recording and editing thing, so bear with me. Again, like the other videos, I will state that everything in this video is alleged and supposed. But I think this is the story that everyone has been waiting for. And yes, I am talking about Shiloh. Now, at this time, as far as I'm aware, there is no 100% confirmation that the account is Shiloh, but the account started tweeting, and in the description it said fly on a wall, and 3 hours later on Shiloh's Instagram, she made an Instagram story, and the song playing in the background is Fly on the Wall. Now, that is not a 100% confirmation, but the stories are pretty in-depth, which we will get into. So on September 11th, an account by the name of Patient Zero popped up and started tweeting things that seemed relevant to Shiloh's story. Now, a fun fact is that a patient zero would be a patient that an outbreak started with. That was just an interesting choice in handles. And the picture being used on this account is of Aaliyah and R. Kelly, and it tracks to a news article stating that video surveillance proving R. Kelly definitely knew Aaliyah was only 15 at the time of marriage. And that is just also an interesting little fun fact about this account. I can remember a few people stating that Onision was allegedly like the R. Kelly of YouTube, so that was just an interesting fun fact to me. But let's look at what the account has to say. The account starts by retweeting one of Sky's posts about Onision's alleged manipulation as far as the alimony, saying that he will harm himself, and it says, "Shame coming from the man who publicly exploited harming oneself from a distressed 18-year-old that he failed to brainwash and keep from her family. If not just that, the endless videos he made about self-harm and how it makes you selfish and weak." It goes on to say, "Is your crown starting to slip off in the mirror yet?" And then retweeting one of Sky's sister's posts regarding the alleged incident that happened when she was 15. It says, "He lies about every detail. His side of the story went very different about this night, saying you were the one who pushed yourself on him in the bathroom. It's sick to think that he has been obsessed for that long, considering he admitted to doing things to her personal photos." The account then retweets the video of Onision stating that in order for it to be grooming, you have to have sex with a person after they turn 18, stating, "Didn't I spend my 18th birthday at the Sandman next to the airport so you could fly me out the next morning without needing my mother's written consent to take me to your house in Tacoma?" They go on to say, "We talked for around 8 months every day on Skype for almost 8 to 10 hours of the day. Sky was normally online shopping in the background whilst Greg was editing videos and on Skype with me. I was just a fan turned friend at the time." December 2010, while I was 17, I received a call from Onision on Skype showing me the divorce papers or whatever bogus contract he wrote up that he had made Sky sign earlier that night. This was the first time he told me he loved me. They go on to say that Onision was allegedly leaving Sky for them, and that he had checked the state laws to make sure that it would be legal for them to sleep together, and that he had hit a deer with his car and ended up flying out, and in the first 5 minutes they had slept together, and the first words that she remembers hearing is, "I can't wait to get you pregnant." The account goes on to say, "My mother notified the hotel that you were there and the police arrived. We were asked to leave because of the camera equipment in the room. Your computer was searched for CP. I was sent back home. You flew back to Tacoma. You started to alienate me from my mother. Shortly after that incident, Onision allegedly rented an apartment in their city and waited a few months while they turned 18, and that Onision allegedly manipulated them from cutting off their parents, and that they were flown out to the apartment in Tacoma on their birthday. They then say that Marvel's Endgame has nothing on this cameo. You convinced me to get your name tattooed on me to show you that I loved you. You told me you would do the same. I came home with Gregory tattooed on me as a surprise. You got Remember Love in return. I was still 17. The account goes on to say, remember when I left you while we were living in the apartment because I found Sky's sister's photos on your computer and you admitted to Googling them yourself and that you did things to them and showed me other things you were doing things to. You then pathetically collapsed at my feet and begged me to stay, then chased 17-year-old me down the street in your socks in the rain. Was it 1 or 2 weeks after I moved in that you started locking me out of the editing room to do things to things while I cried and begged you not to? When you weren't on top of me 8 times a day most days, you were doing things to jailbait. When you weren't doing that, you were recording, editing videos. You had me sleep next to you in your chair in the office so I could wake up and service you if needed. I shaved half my head on my own accord because I wanted to be Skrillex. You shaved my whole head in the middle of sex because you wanted to degrade me. No bras unless unpadded and sport, no makeup unless for videos, no contact with friends' family unless you want problems, all boys clothes from Target, Walmart, wholesale, no accounts without him having the password, no intoxicating substances of any kind, no meat. June 2011, after having seizures in my sleep unknowingly from the stress, you finished your daily routine with me and after, in the shower, told me I was clinically obese and you couldn't pick me up, so I had to lose weight. You continued to confess that you preferred much skinnier, specifically Asian descent or looking girls. I had my first grand mal seizure after you left me in the shower to cry and hyperventilate. This caused 3 years of memory loss. You filmed the results. July 2011, you wanted me to stay living in the house as your friend and you broke up with me. That night, you wouldn't let me sleep in the bedroom and like many nights tried to lock me out of it because I was crying while you were trying to sleep. I tried to push my way into the door. I had enough. Ripped of my femininity, alone and 18, I would not leave you alone and I was manic with trying to make you understand and stop. You called the police on me for the first time. You filmed the breakdown that followed. The police took me to a mental care facility because when Greg did not let me call my mother to come and get me from Tacoma, I had threatened to harm myself while he was on the phone with the police. They put me in a white concrete room with no windows, no bed, and no inside door handle. One nurse came to take my information down and I told her everything. She allowed me to call my mother and remove me from care and to the main office to wait. I was picked up by family hours later. This is off topic, but I wish I could thank her for giving me a voice that day. This was the first breakup. But wait, there's more. After a few weeks we spoke, you pushed yourself at me and I pushed back. When I wasn't coming home right away, you flew out to another state to have sex with Adrian. I found out over Facebook you had a new girlfriend. During this time, I smoked weed, got drunk, and bought a sex toy. That end part is irrelevant to the story. I just hope you see it, Onision. I effing hate you. September 2011, you lured me back in. You flew me to LA and a few days in took me to pick out my own engagement ring. We filmed a video announcing my return that night. Just so you know, I never loved you. I was a victim of your manipulation, and the thought of you not only never crosses my mind, but it never affects my life-day mood. You're powerless, and you have been powerless for years. How does it feel at Onision? Morning there, Onision. I'm terribly sorry if you thought I was done, but this tea is just getting hot. After a very short time living with Sear in LA, we drove back to Tacoma in your Prius. When we arrived, the fridge was full of rotten food from when you fled the scene after calling the police on me. Again, you filmed the results. You sexualized everything to the point where it became extremely uncomfortable for me to watch movies, TV shows, or anything else that might show the feminine form. You compared, critiqued, and at times shamed my body. Sexual encounters were always aggressive. Keep in mind that I was only 18. You like to call me adoring. I get UTI infections frequently. You used to pull my hair back so hard my windpipe would be compressed to the point that I couldn't make noise. This was my first sexual relationship. I became conditioned to think that this was normal for my age. I remember one night sleeping on the floor while Greg edited a video. I was nudging his hand with my head to get his attention for a long time while he ignored me. After a while, he leaned down and said, "I love how you love me. It's so pure, like a puppy. Aw." October 2011. Now it's time to address this, Onision, you lying sack of waste. You got me pregnant. The pregnancy was confirmed with blood test and ultrasound. 16 weeks into the pregnancy, on a follow-up ultrasound, no heartbeat was found. The baby had died and not yet passed. A urine sample was taken. The midwife sent us home and informed me she would follow up with me over the phone. The midwife called me informing me that the baby had died between 5 and 7 weeks gestation, and that I was at risk for going septic if the baby did not pass. I had seen no blood, no passing, no nothing, and so 18-year-old me Googled going septic. You refused to pay for the healthcare required. I had no other choice but to fly back to Canada. You released a video entitled "Shiloh has sepsis." The night I landed in Canada, you broke up with me. You then posted the video "Goodbye Shiloh" and after framed me as a liar. December 2011, I am taken to emergency for severe pain in my abdomen with no vaginal bleeding. I am given Pitocin and spend the next 10 hours with 3-minute contractions 1 minute apart. The baby had been gone for 10 weeks and had not passed. I had gone septic. I had received an emergency DNC. My mind was still so bent that when I came to from anesthesia, I asked for Greg. My mother took my passport from my purse. This was the last breakup. January 2012, you wanted me back. You sent me $1,100 via Western Union to get a new passport. Facts. I never ordered a new passport. I spent the $1,100. I pawned the engagement ring for an Xbox. I slept with someone else. I had a baby. I got away from you. The account then tweets a gif of "That's all, folks," and then says, "Never be afraid to seek help. Someone is going to listen. Trust yourself. Do not let anyone silence the truth." They then retweet tweets from Sky and also tweet that Onision has blocked them, saying "finally," and continue on to retweet tweets from other accounts. This, out of everything, was the hardest story for me. I can relate to a lot of it personally. And if in fact this is Shiloh and these stories are true, I feel very bad for everything that happened. I am glad that she has moved on and found more things in her life. And all I can say is, if you are going through something like this, please reach out to somebody. Please tell them what is going on. Things can be so much better and you don't have to go through things like this. It does affect you as a person, but you can get through it and things will get better. But again, for all those who have subbed, I really appreciate you. If you would like to sub, I would appreciate if you did that. There will definitely be more videos to come, but right now I definitely need a break. So for now, I'm out.